Namaste. Good morning, everybody watching here. It's me, Savina Shrestha. Today, I'm here to help you with some of the contents of science. So let's get started. In previous class, we learned about measurement topic, and under it, we have already finished various topics related to it. In previous class, we did about measurement of mass, and we learned about mass and weight differences. Today we are here with measurement of time. A very short topic of measurement lesson is left, and along with its completion we will start the new lesson, that is velocity and acceleration, the second lesson of physics. So let's get started. First of all, we are going to learn a little bit about time, measurement of time. I think it's not a very new topic to you. You've already studied about it in previous classes as well, in class 6, even in class 7, and it's a short topic related here. Measurement of time. We all know what is time actually. So, for example, let's get some example. Like the event. Just before this class, you had the class of English. Yes, class 10 English. So right now another class has started. The previous class started at 10:15 or 10:10, and then it ended at 10:45. So 30 minutes class you had. Now it's already 10:45. Our class has started. Now it can end at 11:15. Yeah, 30 minutes. So the starting point, suppose this is the starting point and its ending point, that gap is called as time. Like your class, the end of the previous class and the starting of this class, and then after the completion of this class, yes, the events are continuously occurring there. So the gap between these two events, the interval between any two events, that we call as time. Yes, time we all know, like we can measure time in various units. We can measure time in minutes, second, hour, or if you have to measure smaller ones, you can measure in millisecond, nanosecond, picosecond and all. Or if you have to measure bigger units, like we can measure it in hour, day, or week, or month, or maybe year, yeah, or maybe centuries, decades and all. So these are the different units of time. Now once please have a view in the slide. Measurement of time. As I've already explained, the gap between any two events, it is called time. It has lots of units. Different units are there for measurement of time, but as per previous ones we have discussed, the SI unit, which is used worldwide, yeah, for making it similar to be used all over the world, the SI unit, the standard unit system, international system of unit, the SI unit of time is second. And we have like small interval of time. I've already said before, the small interval of time, that's measuring maybe millisecond, microsecond and all. And if it's bigger interval of time, we can measure in day, hour, minute, week, month and so on. And one more important thing is 1 second time. So 1 second time, what is 1 second time? Is it 1 second time? Now see, how can we define 1 second time? 1 second in a whole day out of 24 hours. How do we define 1 second? Afterwards, we will be converting it as well, like in a day, how many seconds are there? Right now, we can simply go to the definition, like 1 second time is a part of 24 hours. Or a 24 hours has 86,400 seconds. So out of those 86,400 seconds, one part, that is 1 second. That is 1 second. So we define 1 second as, the part, it's defined as 1 over 86,400th part of a second. Altogether, out of 86,400 seconds, one part is defined as 1 second. You can simply get the definition of 1 second time here. So then after, the instruments, we all know, we have been measuring time and again, yeah. So different instruments are here for measuring the time. We've been seeing all these different types of watch, clock, it's here. Now let's solve some numericals related to conversion of time. First one, I think I don't need to explain you time and again about the relation between time. We all know the standard relation, like 1 hour it's 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. This you have already done in previous classes as well. In class 6, 7, you have already learned conversion. So here, these are the different units, or maybe 1 day is equals to 24 hours. All these different units are here. Utilizing this common relation, we are going to solve some of the numericals, like few questions we will solve here. here we have, let's convert. You can check here, convert 5 hours into seconds. I have few questions here, just few questions we'll be practicing here. We have to convert 5 hours into seconds. Now, how do we do? I'll simply write the process, calculations and all, you can do it on your own. So first of all, hour, to convert hour into second, what do we have to do? Let's try converting 5 hour. First of all, hour can be converted into minute. When we multiply it by 60, it's converted into minutes. 5 into 60. And again, furthermore, when we multiply 5 into 60, then it's converted into seconds. That calculation, I've already said, it's on your own. Okay, you have to do it yourself. So this is how we convert. Whatever answer we get is in seconds. Yes, similarly, second one is convert a mean solar day into seconds. Just before we said that a day that has 24 hours, it has actually 86,400 seconds. Now how is it? Let's derive it. A solar day, 1 solar day. Let's convert it into seconds. Your question is, you have to convert it into seconds. So how can we convert it into seconds? So we all know that 1 solar day, we all know a day, yeah, it's 24 hours, the time taken by Earth for one complete rotation. That is 1 day, 24 hours. It takes 24 hours for one complete rotation, and for revolution, that's another period, that is 365 days we say, for one complete movement around the sun, that is revolution. And if it rotates in its own axis, moves on its own axis, that we call as rotation. And the Earth takes 24 hours for one complete rotation, and it's altogether 24 hours. So 1 solar day means it's 24 hours. So like we did before, you have to convert hours into seconds. Yes, so 24 into, it's 60 minutes. And then after, when you multiply it, 24 into 60, I think we get 1440 seconds. I'll just directly do here. Then after 24 into 60, when you multiply it by 60, it's converted into seconds. And it's altogether 86,400 seconds. You can calculate there as well. So 1 solar day, it's altogether 86,400 seconds. So similarly, we can convert the third one also, convert 72,000 seconds into hours. Now if you have to convert into hours, what do you have to do? Like we discussed in previous topics as well, while converting mass, while converting length, like to change from bigger unit to smaller unit, we multiply, and to change from smaller ones to bigger ones, we have to divide. Similarly, of third one, if we try, the third one, convert 72,000 seconds into hours. If you have to convert it into hours, 72,000 seconds into hours. You have to convert it into hours. Then what do we do? Simply it's 72,000. First of all, like you have to divide it. When you divide it by 60, it's converted into minutes. I think we all know this. And once again, when we divide it by 60, then it is converted into, hours. It's then converted into hours. Yes, so when you calculate, you can get the answer very easily. How many hours are there in 70,000 seconds? So that is related to time. I think that's all related to time. We learned about what is time, the smaller units, bigger units, and its conversion, and the devices used for measuring time. Now that's all related to measurement. So in measurement, we learned about different types of quantities, different types of units. We learned about fundamental quantities, derived quantities, the units and fundamental units, derived units, yeah, and how they are derived from the fundamental units we learned. And finally, we learned about measurement of length, measurement of mass, and measurement of time. So in this way, I would like to wrap up the lesson measurement. Now today I would like to start the new lesson, second lesson of physics. It's velocity and acceleration. So let's get started. Velocity and acceleration. Before I move on to the topic, I'd like to give some examples, like see, velocity and acceleration. This is the second topic, second lesson of physics. So let me just show you in the slides. Here, velocity and acceleration. So here we go. Yes, so velocity and acceleration. To start up the lesson, first of all, about rest. Few terms related to it I'd like to start. Like rest. Like we all know what is rest. We all are sitting in a still position, I think. Yes, you all are sitting over there watching the program or sitting somewhere. Like if I keep on standing still here, we can say I'm in rest. Yeah, the camera person standing in front of me, standing still, holding the camera is in rest. So how can we define rest is, see, a body. Like I keep a duster over here, it's not moving at all, then we can say it's in rest. The board over here, yes, these are all objects. Like how can we define then? See, rest. A body is said to be in rest if it does not change its position. Yes, if it does not move, if it does not change its position with respect to the surrounding objects. Lots of things are in our surrounding. With respect to them, if we do not move from our position, then we are said to be, or the object is said to be in rest. You can check the few pictures over here. Like you can see a car parked over there. It's in rest. It's not moving. It's the parked one. Yeah, the car is parked in the parking area. So it's in rest. You can see the ball lying on the table, lying on the ground. Yeah, it's in rest position. A girl sitting on the chair. These all are the examples of things or objects which are in rest position. You can see the definition. A body is said to be in rest if it does not change its position with respect to the surrounding. So it's simple. Now, if you know about rest, see, of course we can define motion also accordingly. Now, if I keep on moving from one place to another place, like this. If I keep on moving from one place to another place, then I am now in motion. Yes, the moving things, the things that are moving, they are said to be in motion. Simply like flowing rivers, you can see in motion. The moving car, the flying birds, the boys playing outside or runners, whereby are moving things. If the things are in motion, moving, then it's said to be in motion. Now comparison is done along with the respective surrounding. So what can we say? A body is said to be in motion when or if it changes its position with respect to the surrounding objects. Yes, if it changes its position. While comparing the rest and motion, we can take a reference point. Suppose along with the, suppose if I take this board as the reference point, right now I am in rest with respect to the board. Now if I keep on moving with respect to the board, then I am in motion. Yes, a reference point. A point can be taken as a reference to compare the state, whether the object is in rest or motion. So let's check the definition. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surrounding objects or with respect to the reference point. So we can see some of the examples here, like a running boy, yeah, he's in motion with respect to the surrounding. We can see the running leopard in motion, running. You can see the flying bird. Lots of other examples are there. So these all are the examples of motion. See? Now, what can we say then? Are rest and motion completely different from each other? Or like rest, object, all the objects, like can they be in perfect rest position or not? Let's compare rest and motion. What we have to understand is rest and motion are actually related to each other. They are the relative terms. Okay, like the object in the surrounding. We see lots of objects in the surrounding. The objects that are said to be in rest may not be in complete or perfect rest all the time. Let's take some examples. Like you're in a moving vehicle. Like you can just check the picture here first of all. Okay, let me just do first of all this one. You're in a moving vehicle. You can check here. Yeah, the passenger inside the bus, the vehicle. Yeah, they are in rest with each other. Everybody is in rest. See, they're just sitting on the seat and the bus is moving. The vehicle is moving. Yeah, actually the people with respect to each other, they are in rest. Yes, but look at the trees outside. if we take the tree as the reference point, we can find lots of things in the surrounding, buildings, electric poles, or whatever things pass by outside in the surrounding. With respect to those things, of course, the vehicle is moving from one place to another place. So, like, now what do we say then? Of course, the bus is moving, then we are inside the bus. For people outside the bus or for other reference points, other things, we are in motion. So, you can check here, the passengers with each other, with respect to each other, they are all in rest. But with the things outside the bus, yes, the bus is in motion. So the object, exactly, if it's in rest right now, of course can be in motion at the very time as well. Just let's check the previous one. You can see here the hot air balloon. Yes, a person is sitting over there in the ground. Yeah, and we can see, of course, like if he's sitting still, he's in rest. Now you can see the two people staying over there in the hot air balloon. Yes, in the hot air balloon, you can see over there, like for each other. For those two people staying in the hot air balloon, like they are in rest with each other. Yeah, they are in rest. But if you see from outside, down from the ground, then they are moving all around. They are moving all up higher in the air. So it's in motion. So at one condition, it can be in rest. At another condition, of course, it is in motion. So an object can be in rest and motion at the very time. So they are relative terms. Okay, they are related to each other. Nothing in the world is, like in the universe, nothing over here is in constant or perfect rest. Like you see, I will not move at all. I'll just stop my breath. I'll stop breathing as well. I'll try to be in perfect rest. If you say also, then you're standing on the earth. Yes, you're standing on the earth, and of course the earth is rotating, revolving. So we are also in motion along with the movement of the earth. So with these examples, we can conclude that rest and motion are relative terms, and the things at present in rest can be in motion at the very time as well. So they are related to each other. Now, next topic related is velocity. Before we started this topic, we explained about rest and motion. Now, another important topic that we are going to start is velocity. Before I move on to velocity, few things that you learned in previous classes I would like to revise. You might have learned about distance traveled. You might have learned about displacement. And then after, you might have learned about speed. And of course, you have already learned about this term, velocity as well. We're going to learn actually different types of velocity here. Yes, distance, the total, we all know distance. Yeah, suppose I need to go to school or go to some place. Then what do? I can move straight to a place, like from this point to that point. If I need to move, I can move from here directly to that point. And if I want to move that point, to reach that point, of course I can move all around this room and then reach that point. Yes, I can go any way I like. But that gives you the difference of distance and displacement. Distance means the total length covered by a moving body. How much you travel, you cover the whole room and then reach this point, this side of the board only, then that we take as distance. The total length, once you step out, your distance is calculated. Yes, the total length covered by the moving body, we call it as distance. And displacement, simply it's the change in the position between initial position and the final position. I'm here, and if I get displaced one step or maybe two steps, then that is the difference in the position. See, from initial, I was there before, now I'm 3 steps displaced. So this is displacement. In previous classes, you have already learned about it. So I'm not going to say much in detail over here. So distance and displacement. This is the shortest distance. Yes, shortest path covered by a body. And it always moves in a fixed direction. Yeah, it's always recorded in a fixed direction, particular direction. But distance, it's not recorded in a fixed or perfect, a particular direction. So distance and displacement. And if we know about distance and displacement, then of course you remember about speed and velocity. Speed means, we all know, it's simply the distance traveled by a body per unit certain time. Yes, distance traveled. in any direction. It's a total length covered by the body, total distance covered by the body. That is distance traveled. Yes, and how much in certain time, how much distance is traveled by that body, that we consider as speed. That we consider as speed. Here, of course, we know distance is measured in meter and time taken is measured in second. So its SI unit is meter per second. It's similar. We denote, okay, just to make you clear, distance traveled, we measure it, we denote it in capital S, and this is small t, and speed we denote it by V. Yes, speed is equals to distance traveled by time taken. And another one, now when we move to velocity, now let's move to the main topic, it is velocity. See, velocity is also the distance traveled. Velocity we denote it by V. Yeah, we denote it by V. Then it's of course the distance traveled, but the distance traveled in a fixed direction. If the distance is traveled in some fixed direction, that we call as displacement. Yes, so let me write distance traveled in a fixed direction, in a particular direction, in a particular direction, in certain time, in certain time. Yes, so we can denote, as already done, V is equals to distance traveled is S in a particular direction. Okay, let me just write one more point. Distance traveled in a particular direction, we denote it, or we call it as displacement. As I've already said before, we denote it by S, and time taken is small t. So here its unit is similar as of speed. The speed's unit or the unit of velocity, it's same. Okay, and displacement is measured in meter and time in second, so it's meter per second, the unit of velocity. Of course, we can measure in kilometer per hour or other units as well, but as I've already discussed before, as SI unit, we take it as meter per second, unit of length. Displacement meter, time taken t. Now once let's have a short view in the slide as well. The same thing revised. Velocity is the distance traveled by a body per unit time in a fixed direction. As the calculation is already explained, it's been shown here. Meter per second is the SI unit of velocity. Now let's try solving a short numerical related to velocity. You can just check over here, a car is moving, see, from position A to position B. It's been displaced from position A to position B, and the displacement covered is 600 meters. See, you can check the displacement is 600 meters. So then after, you can just check in the slide once again. Displacement is 600 meters and the time taken for that displacement is 30 seconds. See, from A to B, it's 30 seconds. Now, you can just check your velocity. We know that velocity is displacement by time taken. And displacement is already 600 and time taken is 30. So, the velocity of the body is 20 meter per second. This is the one. Now, one more term. See, velocity can be of different types. We can have, it's here like uniform velocity, non-uniform velocity, average velocity. About 3 types of velocities we are going to discuss here right now. So, first of all, uniform velocity. Uniform. With the word we can easily understand uniform, it's same. Uniform. We wear the uniform in school, similar, same. Yes, for uniformity. Now, let's check what is uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. See, in the picture you can see the car moving from one point to another point. Here you can see in first 1 second the car covered 20 meter displacement. Yes, it's traveling, it's moving towards a fixed direction, so it's displacement. Yes, it has covered 20 meter in first 1 second. In next 1 second it covered 20 meter, and in another second also it covered 20 meter, and so on. So what you can see is, like, if a vehicle or if a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time. Yeah, you can see every 1 second 20 meter, every 1 second 20 meter. So your velocity is 20 meter per second in every second. Yes, so here what we can say, uniform velocity. If a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time, then the body is said to be in uniform velocity. That body's velocity is uniform velocity. Another is non-uniform velocity. It's much simpler. Non-uniform. If it's not uniform, then it's non-uniform. You can just check in the figure. Like the car, in first 2 seconds, it covered 1 meter. Like you start the car, vehicle of your own, or you're cycling. Yeah, while cycling, you cycle. What you can see is you just move on. In the beginning, your speed or velocity might be lesser. Yes, you slowly, like especially when we talk about like car and all, or motorbikes or whatever. Yeah, in the beginning we move up with lesser velocity, and as we get the pace, as the road is free or whatever, we slightly try to accelerate it, and then after we increase this velocity. So it differs. You can just check. In the first 2 seconds, it covered 1 meter. In second 2 seconds, it covered 10 meter. Yeah. In third one, next 2 seconds, it covered 25 meter. So in every equal interval of time, that is 2 seconds here, the distance or distance travel in certain fixed direction, it is different. Once 1 meter, then next 10 meter, then next 25 meter. So that type of velocity. So the vehicle is traveling with non-uniform velocity. Yeah, we can just check here. So a body is said to be in non-uniform velocity if it covers unequal distance in equal interval of time in a fixed direction. That is non-uniform velocity. Now one more we have average velocity. So average, you might have done in maths. Yes, calculated arithmetic mean or average you might have calculated. So average velocity. So average velocity means, what is it then? So we take samples, we find out the average. Like for example, in a class, what's the average age of the students of your class? For example, we just take the age of everybody in the class, sample once. Yes, and how many samples we took? We divide by that total number. That is sample. That is average. So similar is here with the average velocity. We can check. Average velocity is the velocity of a body. Yeah, velocity of a body. If its total displacement is divided by the total time taken. You can check here. Average velocity is denoted by VAV, or also we denote it by V bar. And it's the total displacement over total time taken. A short example we can discuss here. Here, if a body covers 10 meter in first second, 15 meter in the second, and 20 meter in the third second. So you can check the total displacement would be 10 meter in first, 15 meter in second, and 20 meter in third. It's all together 45 meters. Yes, and the total time taken. See, first second, second, and third second. So altogether time taken is 3 seconds. So how can we get the average velocity of that body? We can calculate it by total displacement divided by total time taken. So you can check here 45 by 3 seconds. It's 15 meter per second is the average velocity. Now we are left with the last one. Average velocity, I've already said before, it's the arithmetic mean. Yeah, a vehicle gets started. Suppose in the beginning it's traveling with the velocity. We all know initial velocity. It's denoted by, it's the first velocity, the beginning one. And it's denoted by U. And as it goes on moving, the finally recorded one, that is final velocity, it's denoted by V. Suppose a vehicle is traveling with some initial velocity U. It may be, for example, 30 meter per second. And then after, it increased the velocity and its velocity reached to maybe, how much? 60 meter per second, for example. So calculate the average velocity of this vehicle. Average velocity. VAV equals to what? So as per the formula, now average means the arithmetic mean. Yes, so average velocity VAV is equals to U, initial velocity, plus V, the final velocity, divided by 2. U is 30, V is 60, divided by 2. So it's 90 by 2 equals to 45 meter per second is the average velocity of the moving body. So today we learned about measurement of time for wrapping up the lesson of measurement, and then we started velocity and acceleration. Under it we learned about different types of velocities. So you please revise through it. In next class, we'll be learning about acceleration, retardation, and different equations of motions. So get ready for that as well. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.